Hello everyone, I'm Carthu and welcome back to the dojo. Today, I wanted to discuss the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super, but not in my normal way. I realized when I was writing Everything Important this week that Everything Important was about Vegeta's strength feats that we got in this episode. So, instead of doing that, I just decided to make the video entirely about Vegeta's strength feats, and maybe I'll do a little bit of what I liked about the episode at the end of this one. It wasn't a perfect episode, but it was honestly acceptable by most terms, and I'd say a low to middle good, if you want my opinion quickly, anyway. So, we have some crazy feats for Vegeta, and they are actually great, because they provide enough information to surmise Vegeta's strength, at least approximately, on like a tier list, not really a concrete multiplier. So beyond Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, how strong is he when he's fully powered? First off, I'd like to point out that Vegeta, before getting his little pride boost, he was not really faring well against God of Destruction Toppo, but he wasn't doing awful. He was tanking hits. He wasn't getting, knocked out of his blue form or really, decimated or anything. But then, when Vegeta gets his pride boost, when Vegeta sees that Toppo was not willing to keep his pride, his justice, his, motivation as a warrior, and was rather quick to give that up in order to save his universe. Now, is this a bad thing necessarily? No. But it's not necessarily a good thing either. You're giving up your personal goals, your endeavors, for the sake of achieving something. Now, to be fair, this is a pretty good thing to achieve, the saving of your universe. But it still comes at the cost of oneself, and it's arguable that it loses its morality if it's not truly from oneself. That aside, we do know that Toppo, in this God of Destruction form, this Unchained form, is basically God of Destruction tier, and we can assume mid-God of Destruction tier, or at least above low God of Destruction tier, maybe in between low and mid. I'd say mid because I think that's, very likely, but it's possible he's only low God of Destruction tier. We basically base this off of Seadra. Seadra, who, his Kaioshin had no confidence that Seadra could defeat Frieza. Seadra himself failed to supply enough Hakai energy to destroy Frieza, and it was even tankable by base Goku. He didn't, brush it off or anything, but he survived. He didn't die. Frieza himself was able to contain this energy and use it freely, without question, and even Seadra was like, that should have been enough to destroy, anyone that I wanted to, any mortal or whatever. So, Seadra was obviously pretty weak, and if we use the manga as well, we find that Seadra is actually more defensive in his combat style, because we rarely see him gone on the offensive in the Battle of Gods fight. But besides that, we can surmise that Toppo's pretty strong. I mean, Beerus was, sweating a bit about Kaioken times 10 Super Saiyan Blue Goku. This is a Goku who's 200 times weaker than he is now. And this Goku is relative to this Vegeta that was fighting Toppo initially, before the Pride boost. So you have this Toppo who's, relative to a Goku from the tournament, right? If we take Super Saiyan Blue Goku from the Universe 6 tournament, he would be 200 times stronger now, because of a 10 times boost just from training and Goku Black Zenkais, as well as 20 times from Kaioken. At least 10 times, by the way. So you have a 200 times boost on this Goku, and he's relative to Vegeta. This Vegeta is, under this Toppo, so this Toppo is at least that strong, and then this Vegeta surpasses that Toppo. That's how strong this Vegeta is, but we don't need to just, headcanon away numbers, as some of you may claim I'm doing, which I'm not. This is all based on other feats in the series that I don't want to bog this video down in. We have proof of his raw power, and actually we have 3 good indications of just how strong Vegeta after this Pride boost is. The first indication, Vegeta punches a Hakai into smithereens. This Hakai was meant to nullify Vegeta's attacks, the attacks that Toppo previously felt. So, Vegeta is stronger than these newer Hakais. The second feat we have is Vegeta just being able to punch and kick Toppo freely anyway, despite Toppo having the Hakai energy on his body. Toppo has energy that has been destroying rubble, that has been destroying ki blasts, that has been destroying everything that touches it around his body, and Vegeta's just able to freely touch it, punch it, and not even give a damn. He just attacks that stuff, and it's not an issue. Vegeta is a beast. Then, you have the biggest feat of the episode, and this is probably the biggest talking point of the episode. You have Vegeta's sacrifice. Vegeta, using the same technique he used against Majin Buu to, try and eliminate him, is used again here as a way to defeat Toppo. Now, what's interesting here is Toppo launches a massive Hakai to try and cancel out this attack, and it doesn't work. It gets utterly obliterated by Vegeta's, self-destruction. And even more impressive than that, this attack that was supposed to kill Vegeta, right, was not a killing blow for Vegeta. It was not his upper echelons of limitations. It was, just under that echelon, but it was pretty, it was significantly less because we see in the preview that he's still able to go Super Saiyan beyond Blue. So we have a Vegeta who just destroyed the biggest Hakai we've seen so far. Fairly easily. Like, the attack did this fairly easily. I'm not saying Vegeta wasn't, strained afterwards, obviously. But the attack did it fairly easily. Vegeta was able to tank this attack, because this attack is supposed to be a two-way street. It's a double-edged sword. You die, I die. That's supposed to be the idea of it, though it always leaves one person standing, weirdly enough. But anyway, it's supposed to be a double-edged sword, so whatever damage it's dealt to the other person, it's dealing to you. If Vegeta's able to tank this, something that, obliterated, basically, God of Destruction Toppo, knocked him out of the arena in an instant, destroyed his Hakai in an instant. It's just crazy. This Vegeta is immensely powerful, and I would put this Vegeta at high God of Destruction tier. Mid is a low ball, but I'd say high is a reasonable estimate of where he is. He's probably up there on the levels of people like Beerus and Kitella and presumably Belmod. So, in this case, we have Vegeta who's either surpassed Beerus already, you could argue, because some people have argued that Toppo is supposed to be the representation of Beerus in the tournament to show their strength progression, but even if you just say that he's around Beerus' level, like within Beerus' level, I'd be completely fine with that. What a progression. He is so much stronger now than he was at the beginning of this tournament, at the beginning of Super for sure, and even at, the beginning of the first new arc in Super, the Universe 6 tournament arc. He's at least 200 times stronger, greater than 200 times stronger than that. Anyway, guys, that's it for the strength portion of this video. As a real quick, surmise of the episode, what I think of the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super, I really enjoyed it as a story element, as a plot episode. But animation-wise, it was very limited. You could tell, definitely, especially compared to last week, surprisingly. For those who don't know, last week was a solo animated episode with some key animated bits in between just to clean up some action. So it's really like one animator does most of the work last week. That's crazy. And I feel it looks better than this. Then you have this week, it's fairly stiff. It's not too crazy. Direction is pretty good, but I think the story is what's carrying this episode. And honestly, this would have been a better episode for Vegeta transform into Beyond Blue than the last one. Why give him a pride boost on this form? You should have just held the form back until now. And then Vegeta gets the form, and now, that's his big thing. But they wanted to do it, have the form be used a bit more, I guess, against Jiren before Vegeta, blows himself up and kills the form until next episode, which, okay. So yeah, guys, I did enjoy this week's episode, though it wasn't the best. It's definitely not the worst, and it's definitely not even a meh for me. It's a solid good, I'd say. Well, that's just my opinion, though. So what do you guys think? Leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below, and subscribe if you want more Dragon Ball videos. But for now, video outro!